My wife left her wedding ring with my mother-in-law. I'm afraid she'll lose it.
She might throw it down the ditch.
So yesterday, my wife, let's call her Ruby, 21 female, went to visit her mom like she usually does on weekends. I, 22 male, work weekends outside the house, but weekdays I'm remote, and her mom works Monday to Friday, so it's the only time they really get to see each other. No issue there. Ruby is currently on maternity leave, and our baby is due next week, so I totally get that she wants to spend time with her mom while she can. By the way, this comes from ChampUwu17, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. And I'm Angie.
I'm Riley.
And we're here to give good advice goofily, but we're not experts. We're just going to guess what we would do in these situations, but let us know what you would do in the comments. OP says, here's where things went off. Ruby came home in a taxi and told me she accidentally left her wedding ring at her mom's place. She took it off because it was hot and her fingers were swollen, pregnancy stuff. I didn't get angry or anything, just asked where she left it and said, let's go back and grab it. I offered to drive us since I didn't want to wait. That's when it started getting tense. She tried explaining over the phone that her mom would keep it safe and we could pick it up tomorrow. I heard her out, but I wasn't comfortable with waiting. I was polite, calm, didn't insult anyone, but I insisted that we go get it now. I even said that I could go alone after helping her go upstairs, but she didn't want that either. By the time she got home, I was already waiting in the car. She got out of the taxi, clearly upset, and pushed me away when I tried to help her with her bag. She gave me the silent treatment while calling her mom to say that we were coming back for the ring. Then she finally asked, why are you doing this? Why can't you trust her? And that's where I lost my cool a little. Not yelling or anything, but I stopped sugarcoating. I told her the truth. No, I don't trust her mom. She knows why. Her mom once lost our engagement ring during a rough patch, and it magically showed up months after. This same thing happened with many other sentimental items I gave her, and some of them never reappeared. Ruby insists it was just a mistake, but to me, there isn't a reason to blindly trust mother-in-law. That wasn't the only thing either. Her mom has insulted me, made insulting comments about my background, and has never apologized for any of it. I listed those things out not to throw them in Ruby's face, but because she kept asking why. I asked her why her mom gets all this grace for doing things. She just wished me to my grave yesterday because Ruby was feeling sick while I was picking up her meds. But I can't even state the facts without her getting upset. She cried. I comforted her, apologized for being harsh, and made it clear that I wasn't trying to attack her or her mom. I was just being honest. I told her I don't believe her mom would purposefully throw away the ring, but based on history, I wasn't willing to risk it getting misplaced again. If I ever wanted to test whether things had improved, it wouldn't be with something as personal as our wedding ring. So we went back. Her mom gave me the usual cold stare, but at this point, I don't care anymore. Later, Ruby and I talked. She said she understood and forgave me, but she still felt hurt about the way it went down. I didn't yell. I didn't insult anyone. I just acted quickly. Maybe too quickly, and didn't give her time to process it. So I agreed and apologized for that part, but I still feel down about all of this as well. In my defense, I just panicked a bit. I value that ring a lot, and when something feels urgent, I move. Ruby has actually thanked me for being that way in past situations, but after seeing my wife still so sad about this, I'm wondering if I should have just let it go. So, yeah, I don't know. I feel like I did the right thing, but maybe in the wrong way. How do I fix this? And am I the a-hole? And we do have a small update. The baby is born.
All
He
right.
was completely safe and sound. My wife and son are sleeping right now. I'm checking on baby so Ruby can get some sleep.
Aww.
She did great and apologized for everything. She said she was just nervous about today and wanted all of us to be okay so there wouldn't be any drama at the hospital. Spoiler, there wasn't any drama.
Huh?
I know the woman I chose to spend my life with, and she's a great person. She cares about her mom as much as she cares about me, but she did admit that she overreacted and wanted to support me more. I know this isn't the end of the story. We already started thinking about some boundaries to make, and this is just the start of our lives together. Hopefully, when I come back with updates, it will be good news. Good night, guys. I'll do my best to stay up, and thanks for all the advice. Even the sharp comments. I read all of them, and you gave me grounds and confidence to set up some boundaries and communicate better with my wife. And guess what? We got an update. Hey everyone, it's been about 3 months since. Baby first, because that's the best part. Our little guy is 3 months old and thriving. He was a chunky newborn, and he's only getting bigger. He hit 16 pounds and 2'1" right before his 2-month checkup. Healthy, happy, and smiling more every day.
All right, in the comments, put us in the percentile of where this child is.
Yeah.
I'm feeling 97th percentile.
Oh, you think?
Oh, yeah.
Would that mean that 97% of babies are this way? Or
No. That means he's like, out of 100 babies, he's in the top 3% of big babies.
Okay. So, on to the mother-in-law situation. Well, it's been a ride. Some ups, plenty of downs, but I've learned to manage it so I don't lose my mind, lol. A lot of you suspected that she was pawning stuff, and yep, you nailed it.
What?
Yeah, I mean, why else would she be taking this valuable stuff and not returning it? My sister-in-law, 18 female, recently asked Ruby for money to cover payments on their mom's pawned jewelry. We ended up lending them about $2,000 so they could just recover their stuff altogether. It's been a month and no repayment yet. Somehow, they're always struggling, even with low rent, which is less than $1,000, and food stamps, but that's another story.
Dude, no matter how much money people have, if you don't know how to manage it, you're going to be broke.
Yeah, if you need to borrow that much, then it's kind of like, why do we need to do that in the first place? What happened to our plan to pay it back to the other person in the first place? I've tagged along for a few lunches at mother-in-law's since Ruby has started seeing through more of her mom's BS and doesn't like being alone there anymore. Funny thing, even though we invite her to our place whenever she wants, she refuses because she, quote, doesn't feel comfortable. I've offered to leave the house or stay in our room so they can have privacy, but nope. If it's not on her terms, it's nothing. So gladly for me, visits are way less often, as I'm back to work already, and until my wife feels comfortable again, I should be there with them. The worst part is the verbal stuff. Mother-in-law never says it when I'm around, but when she's mad, she yells at Ruby and throws out nasty comments about me or even our baby. She's said things like, our son will grow up to hit Ruby, what? Or that bad things will happen to her because of how she treats mother-in-law. It's gross. Ruby's been doing therapy, and we agreed our son doesn't need to grow up hearing that. She explained the best she could to mother-in-law that visits stop when she acts like that. Her response? He must be used to it already. I've behaved this way since he was in your belly. So yeah, I wasn't taken aback. I see mother-in-law for her true colors, but Ruby got very disappointed that day. Reality check passed. After one particularly bad yelling match, just days after we loaned them the $2,000, we went low contact for a couple weeks. Eventually, mother-in-law showed up at our door with some of Ruby's old stuff that she found, which are plushies and such, in what felt like a big victim performance of how much she had to walk. We live 15 minutes away walking, or she could have taken a bus, but okay, yeah, 15-minute walk would be like a 5-minute drive. Like, honestly.
Well, I don't think she has a car.
Well, yeah, OP said she could take the bus.
Yeah,
or get a
you're
taxi
right.
that Ruby always got from her place. No real apology, but Ruby says she kind of half apologized later, so they're talking again. As for childcare plans, because Ruby's going back to work soon, mother-in-law had offered free babysitting, but that's off the table. She's joked about spanking our son to, quote, correct him, and he wasn't even 2 months old when she said that. And she suggested giving him water in the summer. Whether that's ignorance, Ruby's take, or something darker, my take, it's a hard no. We're hiring a sinner, actually my mom, who does this professionally, and will pay her. Because our kid deserves patience and love, not someone with random anger blow-ups. And you deserve to listen to full episodes with more stories just like this one. Just go to Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, or your favorite podcast app, and search OK Storytime. And that's where you're going to find all of these episodes. Ooh, ooh. Yeah, there's a little bit more to the story, but yeah, that if she is a mom and she has raised newborns, she should know that you can't give them water for a good while. So I feel like it isn't just ignorance, it's just stupidity, or yeah, maybe it's I doubt she's trying to hurt the baby. I really doubt that. But it could just be something for control of like, oh yeah, I'm going to do this. Baby will be like fine. Even though that's like not what OP wants.
And something's going to happen. And mother-in-law's going to be, but I did my best. It's like, no, you can't do your best. You have to do the right thing.
Yeah, because a baby's life is on the line here. If you just don't do well enough or something. But yeah, good thing they're not letting her babysit. Yeah. But there is a little bit more to the story. So For now, mother-in-law still sees the baby, but only supervised. Any more screaming and visits stop again. I doubt she'll ever change. Therapy is, quote, for crazy people, according to her. So we're just keeping contact as low as Ruby will allow. I'll save my venting for Reddit and my therapist. That's pretty much it, though. Thanks to everyone who gave me advice last time. My mom, she studies psychology, and a couple of friends think mother-in-law might have bipolar or borderline personality disorder, but she'll never get a diagnosis because she won't set foot in therapy. So, whatever. For now, the plan is just healthy baby, happy home, and minimal mother-in-law. And that's the end of that story.
My mother-in-law called me her surrogate and tried to rename our baby?
Hey, so the father of that baby is your son. Let's think about that.
Trigger warning, verbal abuse. My husband, 30, and I, 31, have been married for a year. This is my second marriage and his first. We met on a dating app and hit it off immediately. We got very close, very quickly. It was a shock to everyone in my life due to the messy divorce and terrible marriage I just been through. By the way, this comes from C Driver 66. And if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. I'm Riley.
And I'm Angie.
And we're here to give good advice, goofily, but we don't have all the answers. We only know what we do know, so let us know what you know in the comments below. I have one daughter from a previous relationship, and my husband has always treated her as his own and has been an amazing father figure. After dating for a couple of months, we found out we were pregnant. As far as our relationship and immediate family with our kids and our marriage, it's perfect for me. I have never been happier with a partner. The issue is his family. He comes from a two-parent household, former military. They both moved around a lot and were stationed in Europe. His dad is very successful and supports the whole family. His mom was a stay-at-home mom and later a caretaker for her ill mother. He has one younger sister, 27, who lives at home trying to finish college. Up until last year, his maternal grandmother lived in the home. When she got really ill, his mom's sister moved in as well. His father's side of the family lives in a rural mountain community about 9 hours away from us. When we first got together, my husband needed a hip transplant at 27. He was recovering at his parents' house. During this time, I met and began spending a lot of time with his family. His dad clearly loved his mom, and I respected him for it. His mom, on the other hand, was a walking ball of anxiety. Every single thing sets her off. She hyperfixates, she freaks out, her voice becomes very high, and she gets confrontational because she can't let things go. I noticed it when she was giving my husband his medications after surgery. She couldn't let others help because she had to be the one to have control, or she was convinced he would take too many meds and pass away. She would ask me about my past marriage and seem supportive, but her anxiety would punt in and she would go on for hours, bringing things back up and interrupting new conversations. I would watch as she would hound her daughter for being too anxious or depressed. My mother-in-law would scream and call her daughter names or curse at people if they weren't agreeing with her. I watched her do it with her own mother.
Oh, wow.
My father-in-law, my husband, her sister, and countless others. Then it turned on me a little. When we first told them we were expecting, I was scared. They surprised me at first. They were really happy about the baby. This whole family was so supportive verbally in the beginning. My mother-in-law would ask daily what her grandma's name would be. They checked in, asked about our future, and encouraged us to buy a home. We moved in with my mom so she could help us with the new baby and my older child. It also allowed my husband to bond with my family. My first child has autism. I have a lot of medical issues, and my pregnancy with my second was very hard. There was a high risk of losing the baby for most of my pregnancy, which was incredibly stressful. His family knew this, and his mom's anxiety and some internal biases began to show. It started with questions about autism. I let them know that my second was at higher risk for autism since I already have one with the condition. My mother-in-law and father-in-law would insistently ask how I would know if my youngest would be autistic or potentially just copying their older sibling. I had to get research from my doctor and have my daughter specialist talk to them because it was super invasive and stressful. They were also too afraid to babysit my older child on their own since they don't understand autism. It hurt that it didn't seem like they were fully accepting her, but then they would buy her gifts and ask about her. So I thought I was just being sensitive and dropped it. I really didn't want a gender reveal or baby shower. But since this was my husband's first child to go through with this experience, I wanted him to have the memory, so I agreed. They were both at his parents' house. The gender reveal was okay. This is when I started getting name suggestions from his mom.
Oh no.
I politely declined and said my husband and I would pick a name together. I didn't realize how this would become such a big deal. A month later, his grandma turned 80. We were going to throw her a big party. Last minute, my mother-in-law had an anxiety attack and decided to cancel most of the party. The band wasn't coming. She told friends not to come. Grandma was devastated. We did something super low-key instead with just family. While waiting for some family to arrive, my mother-in-law sat me down and told me she was excited for the baby. She reminisced about when she was pregnant. Then she said, "It's crazy that I'm going to be your grandma. You're essentially my surrogate mother, carrying on my bloodline, my family." I was floored. I quickly excused myself, and my sister-in-law found me crying in another room.
Oh my gosh. Oh,
You're just a baby-making machine to her.
that's awful.
A grandchild-bearing
Surrogate.
ah.
Ugh.
She got my husband and I and told them what happened, but not to make a big deal during the party. They didn't understand what I meant and thought just meant don't tell their mom. So they went to their dad and told him. He immediately went to his wife and told her right there in the middle of the birthday party, 80-year-old grandma. She confronts me and wants to talk about it in front of everyone.
Oh my god.
I was mortified. I was pregnant and ill. She went on and on about how I misunderstood her, and that's not how she meant it.
Oh my god.
Then she tried to explain it better.
Oh god.
It wasn't better.
Oh no, I'm so scared for how she explained.
Basically, you're carrying my child, but I'm
Yeah.
the grandmother of it, and
Right.
you're somehow a surrogate in
Yeah.
this situation.
It's just so beautiful that like our bloodline is so important, and now you're carrying my son's DNA, and you can create another one of him, and that's what you're here for. Like I'm so scared. What is it gonna be?
What does this mean? And then she said she was sorry, and I misunderstood her, which isn't an apology at all. My husband was so embarrassed and angry. He and his mom have gotten into a lot of fights over that one comment alone over the years.
Oh wow.
Then the baby shower came around. Some of his family from the mountains came, and it was my first time meeting them. They weren't as friendly as I thought. His family from the mountains didn't interact with my family at all. When my daughter with autism tried to play with them, they weren't kind to her. At this point, we had recently announced our youngest's name. It was not well received. It's not traditional. It's not a family name. We weren't married when I gave birth, so our child has 2 last names, ours combined. This didn't go over well. When we began opening gifts, I noticed all the cards, books, and gifts were made out to the middle name of our baby, or the middle name and my husband's last name. Checks were written to this name that doesn't even exist. I found out it wasn't because they liked the middle name better. They didn't like my last name or the first name we chose. They all decided they were going to call our baby by that instead. I was so upset. I cried and my family was floored. It was so disrespectful. His mom would later say that she felt she deserved to be consulted in naming our baby because she's the grandmother. She had given us a handwritten list of names that she liked and approved of, and our baby's name wasn't on there. We ended up having a family meeting because my husband and I were so upset. The surrogate comment was brought up as well. When my father-in-law threw it in my face, and my first child didn't have 2 last names, I had to explain again my harmful first marriage and how I wasn't allowed to pick having 2 last names. They didn't care. I was hospitalized a couple of times for health concerns with the baby. My doctor recommended that those around the newborn needed to be up to date on their vaccines and flu shots so the baby wouldn't get sick. We told this to everyone. They had to have shots at least 2 weeks before meeting the baby. His family waited until we were in labor to do anything about getting the shots. There were a lot of complications during giving birth, and we almost passed away. So when we got out, we were strict about the shots, and his family was mad that we held that boundary for the full 2 weeks. When they came over, they took the baby from my arms and only gave her back to breastfeed. My mother-in-law tried pressuring me into giving formula in bottles so she could feed the baby. I didn't like that, so I said no, politely. I hated going to their house They ignored our wishes about giving the baby back when she was upset, so I or my husband could soothe her. I was freshly postpartum and had some PTSD from birth, and they still didn't respect those boundaries. We asked them not to kiss her on the face since she was sick when she was born, and we ended up having to go to the hospital when she was a couple of weeks old.
Ugh.
Turns out they kissed her anyway and possibly gave her the crud they had. She had to have multiple rounds of suction to help her breathe.
Oh my gosh. So the baby really was messed up from that. Oh my gosh.
Thankfully, she was okay,
Okay, good.
but it was just another situation where they did whatever they wanted. We stopped coming over as often, and I avoided them to stay out of the drama. I was respectful when I was there, but didn't go above and beyond anymore. Any advice, please? We have an update. I think just doubling down, low contact.
Yeah. Yeah, dude. I don't know if they come over without a warning or something, without your invite, maybe like print out the medical receipts,
Yeah.
the hospital receipts to, show, hey, when my 3-week-old baby or however old he was, your baby was, like this is how much money we had to spend at the hospital to save his life because someone didn't respect our wishes.
Someone.
Yeah. And honestly, call her out just because you were kissing her face and you were not doing what I asked. So if you're not going to keep our baby safe, I'm going to keep her safe and keep her out of the hospital.
Yep.
By not letting you around anymore.
I'm going to have to. We have an update. A couple of months later, I graduated college and found my job in a field. My mother-in-law offered to be our childcare since she doesn't work, which saved us thousands of dollars a month. We were super grateful, and I tried to let things go since she was helping us. My husband proposed a month after the birth of our daughter.
Wow.
We wanted something low-key and small with our close friends and family. We began planning, and I invited my mother-in-law to go wedding dress shopping with me. Things started going downhill the week I went back to work. Around that time, my mother-in-law's mom began to decline in her health. It was very sad, and I had so much empathy for my mother-in-law. I lost my father at a young age, so I completely understood and wanted to support her in grief. The whole time, my mother-in-law reassured us that she would still watch the kids for us while I went back to work. The day before I started my first day, she told us she couldn't do it. I was upset, but didn't say anything because I understood these were crazy circumstances. My sister-in-law stepped up and offered to watch the kids the first week, and my mother-in-law would resume after that. My sister-in-law is 27. The whole week, I would rush home after work and find that she was on the couch playing video games and ignoring the kids. Both kids' diapers were so full and dropping that the kids developed rashes by the end of the week. Oh,
Oh my gosh.
dude.
That's terrible.
27 playing video games? Come on.
Bro.
I told her time and time again she couldn't let it get that bad. My husband and her got into a big fight about it. To this day, over a year later, we don't let her watch the kids unsupervised. The following week, my mother-in-law's mom passed away. She'd been sick for years. It was very sad, but we were prepared as best as you can be. My mother-in-law kind of spiraled. She tried watching the kids, but it was too hard. She continually expressed how she didn't know what to do with my oldest since she isn't normal and has autism. She got to the point that she offered to watch her only biological grandchild and would cover the cost of childcare for my oldest daughter. I was so upset. That was a dagger to the heart. I hated the blatant favoritism, but I didn't want to make it worse, so I made arrangements and sent them the prices for childcare. Well, it was expensive, so she didn't want to pay it, but also didn't want to watch her either. It ended up being negotiated that she would watch her 3 days a week, and I would outsource to a family friend to watch my older daughter twice a week, and we would cover the costs. This was all happening while our wedding was quickly approaching. I gave all the details to the family about where to go, what time, and dress code. Everything. I covered the cost of my mom's sister, my brother's girlfriend, and my best friend for hair and makeup. My mother-in-law then made an appointment to get her hair and makeup done, but made a comment about not being included. I was confused because I had offered months beforehand and she never got back to me, so I assumed she didn't want to. I was accused of not telling them what was going on, and there was a big fight the week of the wedding about how they didn't know the schedule or what to do. I was so confused and brought up how I sent them everything. We had multiple conversations. She then said, "Well, my mom passed away, so I forgot, and you should have done more to remind me." The day of the wedding comes. My sister-in-law wasn't sure if she was going to make it in time because she skipped so many college classes. My husband was really upset, but we focused on having a good day. We had our private vows and then did photos with the family. My mother-in-law didn't want to be in any photos with me only, just group photos or ones where my husband was involved. I called out to everyone before the photographer left that if we missed any combinations of people, to let me know now.
Yeah. Let us know. We're casting this net and making it known that it will not be our fault if anything happens.
No one said anything, and the photographer left. It was that moment my sister-in-law came to me in front of everyone, asked me if I was mad at her because I didn't take a photo with her. To be honest, I didn't know she was even there. I was so mentally exhausted from the day.
That's good. That's pretty good.
Girl, come on. But I got myself together and asked her why she didn't say anything when the photographer asked for last call. She just stayed silent and cried and made it seem like I was being mean to her. I was shocked. I tried to talk to her, but it was in the middle of the wedding and I didn't have time. So I asked if we could talk after the wedding and headed to the reception. We got to the reception and my husband and I had a lovely time. I ignored all the drama and focused on celebrating. Well, there was a miscommunication about the minimum food and drink. We had to buy something expensive or be charged anyway. We decided to splurge and buy a bottle of a very adult beverage. It was $1,000 bottle of champagne. We had a glass each and then let a few friends taste it. My father-in-law and mother-in-law were staying at an Airbnb nearby, so we asked if we could drop the bottles off before going to a bar crawl with friends. They agreed. The next morning, we went to get the bottle and discovered that they drank the rest themselves. What else do you expect of these people? Come on. You got to expect the worst. When I expressed that we were upset since that was our wedding bottle of champagne, it cost a lot of money, they acted like it was nothing and brushed it off. I also want to add most of my husband's family decided not to come to the wedding last minute, and we had empty tables that we paid money for, $175 a person, that we didn't get back. A month later, my husband got laid off and got a new job on night shift. My mother-in-law never watched the kids again for us during the day after that. I want to say that we never asked her to do it. She offered. She said time and time again that she wanted to be an involved grandparent, but every time she would cancel or drop the ball. There would be a fight and she would apologize but say she was sad about her mother's passing. My father-in-law would defend her. My sister-in-law would defend her. And it got to the point where it felt like me and my husband was against the rest. They also would throw in our face if they helped us with money at all. They felt they didn't have to participate if they were being able to throw money at something instead, but held it over our heads, so we stopped going to them if we hit a rough patch. Then my mother-in-law decided staying in the house was too much for her. She started going on 1 to 2 month long vacations every other month for a year. We never knew when she would be in town or not. She would get back and talk all about the great time she had. My husband and her got into arguments that she basically bailed the first year of her only grandchild's life, but she again threw her mother's passing in her faces. While they were on one of their vacations, we didn't tell them to put in an offer to a house. We didn't ask for anything from them or help with closing costs. We thought they would be happy since they had been pressuring us to buy a home for 2 years, but we could tell that they felt some type of way about being left out of the process. Through this, we discovered that my father-in-law likes feeling needed financially, and it makes him feel good to help or have that power over his kids. Okay, I get the helping part, but stop holding that over people. What the heck?
Dude, yeah. Like, what about the... I'm sorry, what did you say about having the power over your kids?
Hey, remember those earrings I bought you the other day?
Yeah.
I bought those for you.
Okay.
Don't forget that. I got that. Remember that necklace too?
Yeah.
that white one? I got that.
Cool.
Everyone, I got that for her.
Yeah, big red flag.
That really takes the joy out of the present.
Absolutely.
A present is something you give without any sort of like
strings attached.
String attached or anything you want back.
Yeah.
Expectations from it.
Yeah. Now you owe them something in return.
Yeah, they're like, oh, give me a big thank you. Kiss our feet every time you see us.
Right. It's like, I'm just going to give the necklace back, actually.
We bought the house and they never came over. They expected us to put both kids in the car to go 30 minutes away to their house every week. Their house isn't baby or kid proofed, and things get moved or broken, and they get upset. So we don't like to go. You can go to your favorite podcast platform, search up OK Storytime on iHeartRadio, Spotify, or Apple for more stories just like this with crazy mother-in-laws. Search it up. Guys, we got a little bit left here. Angelina.
Yep.
Where's the line here? Where was your line in this whole story?
I think the line could have been earlier than this, but it was definitely at hospitalizing the baby because they wanted to kiss her face.
Oh, yeah.
That's
Dude, I totally forgot
way
about that.
earlier.
I was going to say, like, wedding time. After the wedding?
Yeah.
We're done.
Dude,
I just can't. I can't.
Yeah.
I don't like the person I am around you guys.
Yeah, it's just one problem after next. You don't care about me. You just don't. You don't care about me at all. I'm supposed to be a part of your family.
Yeah.
And I'm being extremely disrespected by you, and it freaking sucks. So I just am not going to really invite you to things.
Exactly.
And I just don't understand why some of these people are just like, God, why aren't you doing all of this for me when I'm like terrible to you? Why don't you want me around when I'm like so mean to you? Like, you want to say that again?
Come on now. Currently, I barely speak with any of my in-laws. I'm borderline no contact. My husband speaks to them on the phone, and we see them from time to time when they're in town. They are in the process of moving to the mountains, but they don't like to tell people or act like they're conflicted about going because last month, a friend of theirs said they thought it was weird that they were moving away from their only grandchild. So my mother-in-law thinks other people think she's a bad grandma. So she says she doesn't know if she's going to move or stay here. But as we write this, she is in the mountains meeting with builders to build their dream house. Guys, that's the end of that story and this episode. So if
Wow.
you love us, make sure to subscribe.
We love you.
And see you tomorrow.